I was gonna make one of those like close in camera shots to do the blinking guy from the meme. I was gonna do a close in camera shot. Okay, I see what you did there.
What?
I see what you did. I
What
saw
did I
you
do?
left, or did I do that?
I didn't do anything?
You didn't do anything? Okay, then I subconsciously put this shirt on just like 20 seconds ago.
Yeah, no.
How did this happen? I had no idea you were wearing that shirt, and now we're wearing the same shirt. So there we are. Welcome to episode 106 of the Quick Time Event podcast. I am one of your hosts,
The Yoshi Show.
Josh, and as always, I am joined by my partner in crime, John.
Yoshi.
Yo, wahoo. Yoshi. Quick
We're
Time
just talking about Yoshi today, guys.
Event is a chance for John and I to get together each and every week to talk about all of the nerdy things that we love. If you like what you hear, you can find us live on twitch.tv/CDRMagnus every Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, or on all of your favorite podcast services, including iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, and more, shortly after the live show ends. John, what the fuck is that? Okay, do you hear that?
No.
No, because I have a great dynamic microphone. People are shooting off fireworks. It's fucking July 7th. What is wrong with these people?
It's almost double July 4th, Josh.
What is happening? People there were fireworks going off like June 4th, and then the entire month of June.
Yeah.
Still
it
not now.
It got a little annoying.
Are we ever not going to have fireworks? Or is this just the world now?
My dogs beg for us to go back to a world without fireworks. They hate it.
Mako is pretty ambivalent towards fireworks.
That's surprising, because he hates most things.
He hates noise. Yeah, he's a big no noise man.
Yeah.
Have you seen the TikTok?
He doesn't make it. He doesn't take it. No noises for that small dog.
Mako has a new nickname too.
Uh-oh.
Have you seen? I think it's a TikTok. It's a bunch of people pointing at a tiny little snake, and they're like, "Look at little baby man, little baby, look at baby man, little baby man, little baby man, you're a baby man."
No, I have not seen that.
Now we just keep calling Mako Baby Man. That's his new name, little baby man.
That's fitting. That's a good name. So he doesn't hate fireworks.
No, not really.
The most anxious dog I think I've ever met. He's fine with explosions happening outside of his house.
He doesn't care about noises happening outside of the house.
Oh, okay.
He's really
That's
only
a different world.
Yeah, he's really only concerned about the noises I'm making inside of the house.
Mm.
He's such a piece of shit.
Are you guys getting along a little bit better now?
No.
Still afraid?
Yeah. Yep. Yep. So what you been up to?
Sad. Couple things. One, let's just go right for it and talk about the Pikachu in the room. For those watching, there has been an empty space on my wall for about a year and a half. About 4 months ago, it was filled with an empty frame. And now it is an almost complete poster.
Look at it.
I say almost because I need to get a custom cut of plexiglass.
So he's just hanging out there. just
like the backing secured and everything,
right.
But it doesn't have the plexiglass front.
The front is just exposed to the world.
Yes. I figured it's in my little office and nothing really happens in here.
Yeah, leave that 20 years though, and that ticket's gonna start getting all brown.
For sure. Yeah, it's gonna get gross. I mean, it's probably gonna get gross anyways because it's again plexiglass, not like museum grade glass. So that's not doing anything for that light damage. This is purely just to stop it from getting like beat up. But yeah, plexiglass hard to work with. They tell you, oh, just score a line and snap it. No, doesn't follow that line sometimes. One $40 sheet of plexiglass later, I learned that lesson. Good times. But it is now at least like finished enough to hang up.
That's good.
What else?
It only took a year and a half. or so.
Yeah. Yeah. Long time. And I've had that poster for even longer. It's just that I never, it was just like sitting in a tube for a year before that. I finally, I don't know if I had ever beaten this game. So I went back and I finally played it from start to finish. And that is A Link to the Past.
Really?
Yes. It was before my time, I guess. Super Nintendo, 91. I wasn't alive when it came out. I always felt it was overhyped. I know a lot of people think it's like one of the greatest. And as somebody whose first real Zelda game that I can remember was Ocarina of Time, I was just like, no, this isn't one of the greatest. Like, Ocarina of Time is one of the greatest. Get out of here. Whenever I think about it in the context of it being the third one released, and I think about the gameplay from the first one and especially the second one, and then you jump to A Link to the Past, my God, amazing game. Like, both in game controls, like mechanics, in terms of like making puzzles difficult, but still actually solvable. And obviously there's a graphical increase going from what was it, a 16-bit gaming system to a 32-bit.
Yeah.
So I have a newfound respect for it. The big reason I jumped on and I was like, you know what, I got to do this, is because every time I would open my copy of Link Between Worlds, I would see the map and I'd be like, I know this map, but I don't truly know this map, and it feels wrong to jump into this, even though it's not like a direct sequel. It just felt wrong every time. It's like reading book 2 instead of book 1, and I was like, I know people have said that I could just jump into it and it'll be fine, but it just doesn't sit well with me. So I beat A Link to the Past, had a great time with it. The last boss fight was really annoying. Have you ever beaten it?
No.
All right, fair enough. I probably had to use the internet to help me figure out what the hell I was supposed to do. Like, I don't know, 4 or 5 times. I was pretty happy with the lack of need, I guess, to go find an answer. And the times when I did need it, I would have been stuck for days, and I just would have called it quits at that point, which is probably why I never beat it when I was younger.
Yeah, I as much as the 3D Zelda games don't necessarily appeal to me, the 2D Zelda games appeal to me even less.
Wow, that's saying a lot.
It is. Yeah. Do I regret it? No. Was Breath of the Wild great? Yes. Do I like Zelda still? No.
Fair enough.
I am a complicated person.
That's okay. But yeah, so I jumped into Link Between Worlds after that. Obviously, there was 20 plus years of technological advancement between that and A Link to the Past. Link Between Worlds is a lot of fun. a lot of fun. Huge improvements, and not just graphical, from A Link to the Past to A Link Between Worlds. A lot more user friendly and just like puzzle friendly. I wouldn't call it easy. There was one thing that I had to look up because I just blatantly missed it at the start of the game. And I could have beaten it without them. I never found the Pegasus boots until like I've beaten every dungeon. I figured they would just be a reward. Turns out they're not. Yeah, really fun. I see why people gave it such high praise. Very good game.
Wait, okay.
How about you? Unless you would like to discuss anything about Link Between Worlds.
I totally missed what. So, A Link to the Past was on NES.
It was on so many things. It was on Super Nintendo first.
Okay.
It was on Super Nintendo. Then it had a, I guess, port for all, like, for the best way to describe it, to the Game Boy Advanced.
Okay. But it was originally on the NES, or the SNES.
Yes. SNES, then Game Boy Advanced, and now it's just available on, like, it's been available on their virtual shops since the Wii, I think.
And then A Link Between Worlds was GBA?
No, Link Between Worlds was 3DS.
Oh.
Yeah,
Well,
there was a big gap between the two.
okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Checks out.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That clears that up.
And the mechanic, like obviously the big mechanic in A Link to the Past is you change between worlds, and they keep that for Link Between Worlds. It felt more, again, fun and easy and forgiving with the mechanic in A Link Between Worlds, because there were set points where you could do that exchange and go to low rule versus high rule. Whereas in A Link to the Past, there were like probably 5 different points where you could change that were like set on the map. Everything else you could use a magic mirror and just go from the dark world back to the light world, but you couldn't use that mirror to get back to the light world. You had to, like, you created a temporary portal.
Sounds complicated.
It was very complicated.
I am also playing a complicated game right now.
Right.
I am playing. I just finished Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, and I just started Phoenix Wright Justice for All.
Are they fun?
No. As games, they are not fun. However, as stories and as characters, they're really great. It's sort of like, I don't know. I really like the humor. The sense of humor in the game is hitting like right at my sense of humor, just as a general person. Sure. I love how just fucking shady, and not shady is about me, not the right word. I'm gonna go with shady. Phoenix Wright, just as a character, is like his internal monologue, and there's a lot of internal monologue in the game, is my internal monologue with a lot of things. Just like, what the fuck is that dude doing? Like, what the hell? Why are we here? What are we doing? All right. I really like the sense of humor. I like the cast of characters. A little bit of it gets a little shticky after a while. Like, a lot of the characters are named like one of in the episode I just played in Justice for All. One of the characters is named Eeny Meeny, and then the other one's Mimi.
Miny Mo.
Yeah, it's stuff like that.
Eeny Meeny Miny Mo. Yeah.
So
would it be better as an anime?
I think so. I don't know. I know there is an anime.
Okay.
Yeah, there is an anime you can watch. I think it's on Crunchyroll. But from a gameplay perspective, games that originally came out on the Game Boy Advance, I think, or DS, one of the two. I think it was DS actually.
Okay.
It's very old school adventure game.
I was gonna say it looks like it would play like an old adventure game where it's essentially just text.
It is just text. Yeah, I mean it's text.
What can you do in a courtroom?
Right.
You can't just move around.
Right. Well, yeah. So there's 2 parts to the game. There's the investigation and then there's the trial. So the trial obviously all takes place in the courtroom. The investigation part it's a visual novel, and you're going to different places and trying to like spot clues in the environment and talk to witnesses to like get evidence and all this stuff.
Sure.
The main mechanics though are like old school adventure games where you have to like catch little things like, oh, there's a hole in the dress right there. I bet that's going to come back at some point. I should probably like keep a note of that in the back of my head.
Yeah, or you catch somebody in like a lie. Like they'll be like, I was here, and then 30 minutes of dialogue later, they'll talk about the ice cream sundae that they got at that same time, and you're like, hold up.
Yeah, the dialogue is less obvious.
Okay.
It's I don't want to say it's hard. It is hard if you're not used to playing these kind of games, but it's not as hard as old school adventure games. Like if I think about like Grim Fandango or Full Throttle, like those old school Tim Schafer LucasArts adventure games, they're not that bad. It's not like I have to take this mouse and this can of beer and combine them in some way to get out of this house. It's not that bad. Because at least there's like logic. You can follow the logic because this is a case and like things have to make sense at the end of it.
Yeah.
And the other thing I'll say is that a lot of work had to have gone into making these cases and how intricate they are, because it's
for sure.
really fucking intricate. Like when you get to the end of it, like you have your suspicions because there's only so many characters you meet. So one of them had to have done it.
Yeah.
But like,
is it one crime that you're solving the whole time?
No, there's like it's chapters. So the first game is 5 chapters. The second game is 4 chapters. Third game is 5 chapters.
Are these chapters linked to each other at all, or like are there any
a little
themes that come up?
Yes, yeah, there is.
Also, this game sounds like an absolute nightmare for somebody with like ADD.
Probably
just following all these little things and like remembering it all.
Yeah,
and focusing in on these like tiny details. That does not sound. I know some people who have like ADD, and it. I don't know if they'd be able to play this.
Yeah, probably not. I don't know who the game was made for. Like, I feel like it was made for teenagers, but at the same time, it feels like an adult game. Like, it feels like something your grandparents would play if video games existed. But again, the sense of humor, not so much. Just from the gameplay, it feels like a puzzle book. It feels like you're solving puzzles.
So they took the like thematic elements that grandparents would like, the situations that adults would like, and the video games that children would like, and combined it into one medium.
You nailed it. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's uncomfortable.
So yeah, I beat the first one. It's the trilogy is now available on all of the current consoles. And it's the first 3 games. I think there are like 6 games, but only the first 3 are included in this. Objection. I don't know if I would recommend it or not. If you like puzzle games, maybe. Again, I like the characters a lot. Maybe just watch the anime.
Maybe. I forgot to mention. I did. There's an interesting thing that I wanna discuss real quick.
Okay.
So all the digital storefronts have been having summer sales recently. And so I picked up a couple games that I have not started yet. One of them that I'd been meaning, that I'd just seen everywhere, and this is why it reminded me, because you said puzzle games. One of them is Baba Is You. I'm very intrigued about this game. But the other 2 that I picked up, I went to the Switch like top selling games of the week. And there were 2 that were like 95+% off. And they were literally under $1. One was 3 cents, I think.
Was it the Watermelon Party game?
Yes. It was the Watermelon Party game, and then there was this like, I forget what it's called, but it looked kind of like a quasi racing game.
See,
that was also for like 64 cents, and I was like, is it on this bestseller list because it's good?
No.
Or is it on this bestseller list because it's 3 pennies?
Exactly. I think this is the get rich quick scheme of this decade. Is these games
release
that
a crap
someone
game.
Just like, it's a student game. Someone made it in their C++ gaming class.
It was my final project, yes.
1100 or whatever. And then they just put it everywhere because you can at this point.
Yeah.
It's not on PS4 because I think PlayStation and Xbox maybe have a little bit more dignity with their storefronts, and they don't just put anything out there. But the Nintendo Switch and Steam, let me tell you, whatever you want to put on there, doesn't fucking matter. It's on there. Especially the Switch shop. It's very weird because for the longest time, Nintendo was like the most closed ecosystem.
They had their goddamn seal of approval, a gold stamp that they would put on, and if the game wasn't worthy, they would just scrap it. Look at Metroid Prime 4.
What percent of games on the eShop or the Switch shop, whatever you want to call it, are shovelware?
God,
like your best
it's gotta be 90.
I would say 85 to 90 because they're releasing like 10 games a week, at least 10 games a week, and none of them 50, maybe 48 weeks out of the year are Nintendo first party games.
No.
And even in the third year of the Switch, AAA third-party publishers have not been publishing for the Switch as much as I thought they would have. There are some like Sega and like some of the Japanese publishers, Capcom, are publishing games on Switch, but you don't see Bethesda. I guess Bethesda has actually published a few things, but like
people are starting to. At the very start of the Switch, they weren't.
Right. But you're still not seeing very much of that. So what you're not seeing indies. I mean, I guess technically they're indies, but I would not call them indies.
Yeah.
I would say, like, just because you make something doesn't make it. this is so.
There's a level
this
of
is so gatekeeping, but like,
there's a level of like quality that goes to the title of indie.
Right. When I think of an indie game, I don't think of just anything that somebody made.
Yeah, I don't think of Watermelon Spitter, whatever game I just bought.
No. Although you saying that the eShop did bring up another game that I played this week for the first time, Ultimate Chicken Horse.
Yes, which I went and picked up as well.
Perfect. Ultimate Chicken Horse is so fucking good. Did you watch like the trailer or anything of it?
Oh, I've seen
it before.
I know what it's about.
Okay.
It's a platformer where you try to dick people over.
Yes.
But make it just doable enough for yourself.
Right. I have not seen this game at all. I've heard of it. I've seen the name before, but I've not like, I had no previous exposure to it until we were having a game night with one of Janet's coworkers, and
sure,
they said, "Hey, we should just play this. It's $8. Why not?" And it was a fucking riot. It's so good. So yeah. Can recommend that. We're definitely playing that during Extra Life this year for sure.
I figured.
I figured.
I think we should consider buying one of those shovelware games and releasing like on a regular basis, like a game under $1, and doing something with that on a maybe not weekly, but on a somewhat regular basis.
I thought of something else like.
Because it would cost way under $52 a year to do that.
That's true.
Like, this is economically pretty reasonable.
I had a similar idea on the PlayStation. Now, there's not as much. It's still shovelware. There is shovelware. There's shovelware on the PS4, but it's not as blatant shovelware as that's on the Nintendo Switch.
Except for a Little Adventure on the Prairie.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was about to get at, is that most of the shovelware on the PS4 are just trophy farming games. And this is where my mind went to right when we first started having this conversation, where this is the get rich quick scheme.
Yeah.
You create a stupid 10-second game in your art class or whatever the fuck, and then you put it on the Switch shop, and then you build it up enough so that there's a trophy list, and you put it on the PS4 shop, and then all of a sudden people are buying your game because it's 8 cents on the Nintendo shop, and then you sell it for like $2 on PS4, but you get a platinum trophy if you finish it on PS4.
You're getting a platinum trophy for $1.92.
Yes.
That game is still 8 cents.
You're buying a platinum trophy.
Yeah.
But you're going to sell games because people want the platinum trophy.
Yeah. I do wonder, now that you mention that, if Nintendo did have some kind of trophy achievement system and those just crap games were able to make their own, as long as they followed some kind of guideline, how much would that increase their sales of those crappy games?
I don't know.
I mean, granted, if you get 40 extra people to buy a 3-cent game, you're not making hand over fist in money.
No.
But if you have 40 people a week buy a 3-cent game times like, I don't know, 10 games a week times 52 weeks a year. All right, you're starting to see some money now.
Right. And the 3-cent game, I think is I don't doubt that. Well, I don't think that the person that put Watermelon Party on the eShop I don't think they had any malicious intent. I'm sure that they're not complaining about making money, but
I gotta wonder how much of that 3 cents they saw.
I feel like it was more of a, hey, I made a game, yay, it's on a Nintendo platform kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like the
personal achievement, not going for economic success.
Right. It's like the $3 to $5 range, I think, where those are the people. Those are the people that are, they got this and they got the money on the mind.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This isn't a passion project.
No. This is Flappy
Watermelon
Bird.
game. Passion. Little Adventure on the Prairie. Just trying to get that gold mine.
Yeah. But I still love when it came out. This was way back in 2013, I think, maybe 2014, maybe when Flappy Bird was a thing on the mobile devices. And I think that the developer that made Flappy Bird he was somewhere in the South Pacific, I think. It was like it was Singapore maybe, or Indonesia, somewhere South Pacific, Asia.
Yes.
And he put out this Flappy Bird thing and makes like fuck tons of money off of the advertising that was in the game.
Sure, yeah.
And he came out, for a while he took the game off the App Store because he felt so bad about it.
Yeah, it like gave him anxiety or something.
Yeah,
he was like, listen, this was not supposed to get me money. This was kind of a joke on the world.
Right. And then all of a sudden he's making fucking buku bucks. And he never has to work another day in his goddamn life because he stole some Mario assets and put a dumb bird in it.
Yeah. I think for a while, whenever like it got taken down, I don't know if anybody actually did this, but I remember like if anybody actually bought it, but I do remember seeing people would sell like their old iPhone that had Flappy Bird on it and be like, you can have, this game is no longer, this world classic hit is available on this old as hell iPhone 3.
Right.
You can have it
for $2,000.
Yeah, like a couple $100 at the very least, if not thousands.
And
people, I think, bought them.
Oh, for sure they do. I think the same thing happens right now with PS4s. And what the hell was that game called? It was the PT. Let me go on to eBay.com. PT PS.
Enlighten us while you search this.
That's exactly it. So PT is short for playable teaser. It was a teaser trailer for Hideo Kojima's Silent Hills game.
Oh, you tie a big name like that to something?
So
of course it's going to make stupid money.
This was before, I think, Metal Gear Solid 5 came out. So Kojima was finishing Metal Gear Solid 5. And then Konami gave him the ability. He was going to make a Silent Hills game with Guillermo del Toro and what's his fuck from The Walking Dead, Daryl, the guy that was in Death Stranding.
Yeah.
He was going to be in that Silent Hills game. And so Konami dropped this teaser thing called PT on the PlayStation Store. And it was free, and it's a playable teaser of Silent Hills. So it's like the first, I don't think it was meant to be like the first level or anything. It was basically just a concept kind of thing for Silent Hills. But
yeah.
They put it out on the PS4 store. It was like regarded as one of the best games that came out that year because of how like scary it was. There's like Let's Plays all over the place of PT. Just PT. I think that Rooster Teeth did a really famous one. But what happened was Kojima put out Metal Gear Solid 5, was fired, and then Konami shut down that whole project. They're like, no, we're not making this anymore.
Yeah.
And when they shut down the project, when they shut down the project, they took PT off the store. So you couldn't buy it anymore. And so I just Googled PS4 with PT. They're in the $500 to $1,000 range on
That's
eBay.
So ridiculous.
For this, it's like a 15-minute game. This is the danger. This is the danger that all of the physical media people are like raining down on the all digital people. Like, this is our future if you get rid of disk drives. Yeah. And they're not wrong. But at the same time,
this is the mentality of the Beanie Baby fad. Everybody is trying to collect something because either they enjoy it or because they're hoping to flip it for a sweet profit someday. It's nice that that mindset is carrying on in the digital front.
Did you see my retweet yesterday about Command? It was a Command and Conquer cutscene.
No.
So Command and Conquer, I don't know if it was the original Command and Conquer. I don't really know that much about that game. But one of the games they put out, I think in the 90s, all of the cutscenes were like live action cutscenes.
Sure, that sounds very 90s.
And Tim Curry played one of the bad guys. And there's a good clip of him on my Twitter page if you go to it from one of those cutscenes. And he's like, "I'm escaping to the last place where there's no capitalism, space." It's really good.
Yeah, no, I did not see that. I will have to go back.
You have to go look at it. And he's like trying to like suppress his laugh in between the lines. He's like cracking up doing this cutscene, and it's a great clip.
Oh my. Entertaining. That is what that is.
Let's talk about some news.
All right, let's do this.
Are game prices going up next generation? This article comes
I hate it.
From Christopher Dringe. Dring. I hate people's names, man.
Fair.
Other publishers are considering raising game prices for PS5 and Xbox Series X. Cost of development has increased between 200% and 300%, while game prices have remained flat. Speaking with GamesIndustry.biz, IDG president and CEO Yoshio Osaki says that game pricing has remained flat since 2005, whereas TV and movie pricing has increased significantly. The last time that next-gen launch software pricing went up was in 2005 and 2006, when it went from $49.99 to $59.99 at the start of the Xbox 360 and PS3 generation. During that time, the costs and prices in other affiliated verticals have gone up. Osaki says that next-gen console games production have increased by 200% to 300%, depending on the IP, studio, and genre, but the prices have remained at $59.99. Meanwhile, cinema ticket prices have risen 39%. Netflix subscription costs have gone up 100%, and cable TV packages have risen by 105%. Even with the increase to $69.99 for next-gen, that price increase from 2005 to 2020 is only 17% higher, far lower than other comparisons. So what do you think? More expensive games.
That's not the direction I was expecting things to go.
What were you expecting?
Honestly, with the seeming trend to... With the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox obviously having a digital-only console, I thought that we were going to be seeing less and less physical media, more digital push, which would lead to a drop in price because you no longer need to pay for shipping, actual manufacturing costs, probably some form of design and art to create covers and guides and all that stuff. I figured that we would see maybe not a decrease, but at least a hovering, maybe like a $50 price tag for digital and just a slow phasing out of physical. Did not think that we would get a potential slow phasing out of physical and an increase in price.
I think so. This is a very complicated issue that there are, I think, a lot of variables at play.
Sure.
I think that the reason why they were able to keep prices as they were this generation might have been because of digital media. I mean, if you think about it, this generation is the only generation that didn't have a price increase. So we went from $49.99 to $59.99 between between Xbox and 360.
And then it stayed the same.
I think that's because they were relying a lot more on the digital purchasing, which cut down again on what you were saying with logistics costs and manufacturing costs and all that stuff.
So they essentially built themselves a buffer by kind of hoping that people would go digital, and they would make up more profits there.
I think so.
That they would maybe lose in the physical.
Sure, but then at the same time, you think about the last 8 years, and of course, inflation's going up. The world right now is incredibly expensive with shipping and with commerce in general.
Yeah.
This does not shock me. Although I don't think that it's the sky is falling that a lot of gamers on the internet. Although the sky is always falling with gamers on the internet.
True.
But I don't think that
with anybody on the internet, really.
Right. And this is me speaking with very little inside knowledge. I like to think that I could be a games consultant, a games industry consultant, but I'm not. But I look at what else is happening in games right now, especially with the announcements that PlayStation made at their reveal event a couple weeks ago, and with what Sean Layden, the previous president at Sony, or Sony Worldwide Studios, or I guess the PlayStation brand, said last week, and that he would love to see the return of 15-hour AAA games. And you look at what PlayStation did, and they're putting out a Ratchet and Clank game, and they're putting out a Spider-Man Miles Morales game that is not a full $60 title. It's a standalone game, but it's not a full $60 title. And I think that this is what we're going to get. I think it just diversifies the product. It diversifies the industry, I guess, maybe. You have these indie games that are 3 cents. You have...
Yes.
I don't want to say indie games. I guess you have these shovelware games that are 3 cents. You have indie
shit games that are 3 cents. You have indie games that are like
between
$10.
5 to 20 usually. Like a really high polished good indie game is usually like $20.
Yeah.
You're seeing the return of like the B tier with those
THQ 15-hour AAA titles.
Right. And those are somewhere between $30 and $40 usually. Ratchet and Clank, the remake that came out a couple years ago, that was a $40 price point from Insomniac, a AAA studio. When Naughty Dog put out Uncharted Lost Legacy, that was a $30 or $40 game that was a 10-hour campaign for Uncharted. That's a AAA studio that was not full price. They didn't confirm that the Ratchet and Clank sequel was going to not be $60, but it would not shock me if that was a $40 game too. I just think that you can sell games at so many other price points right now that not every AAA game that comes out is going to be $70. I also would argue that we're seeing less and less AAA games come out at that price point, like at the $60 price point. Like if you think about all the huge releases, you think about Call of Duty. Call of Duty, yes, they're putting out a campaign, but Call of Duty right now is essentially free to play with Warzone. Apex Legends, free to play. A lot of the FIFA games, a lot of the sports games are still $60, but we've talked about this before. I wouldn't be surprised if they go to a yearly subscription, not subscription, but like a Destiny style thing
without a doubt
at some point. And at that point, that wouldn't be $60 every year. Probably you're probably paying a monthly subscription or something. Who knows? I just think that there's a lot of different factors that go into this, and even though some games will be priced at $70, I don't think that that's like this big shocking thing.
My concern is that I would love to see the diversification of price points in games, but who enforces those rules? Obviously, in a perfect world, the market would, but I feel like there have been games in the past that released at a full $60 price point that should have been at that $40 price point, and it just had a big enough studio's name where they were like, "No, you're paying $60," and people ended up buying it because they didn't really have a choice and they really wanted to play a game. I guess you could have just not bought it.
Yeah,
but I mean, who would do that?
Yeah, I think that this is where.
Like it'd be great if there was some kind of standard.
Sure.
I don't know how you would set that standard because games can be so incredibly different.
Right. You have the sheer time scale to factor in. You have production quality, you have replayability, there's so many different factors that go into games and how long a player can play a game. And then even just like personal preference. Somebody who buys the ultra high definition Blu-ray of Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith they could, if that's a $30 thing, they could watch that 1,000 times and get way more than their money's worth. Whereas somebody might be forced to rent it or buy it even on Amazon Prime and watch it one time. And like, that was a waste of money. Never going to watch that again.
Yep.
So I think that, it would be interesting to see if there is some sort of regulatory body. I doubt there would be, but I think that this is where,
I mean, it comes down to if studios are willing to act on good faith. I think like, we're going to sell this for what it deserves to be sold for.
Right.
If that was the case and it's a perfect world, great. I'm all for this. You want to charge me $70 for a game that is legitimately worth $70? That's fine. But don't try to sell me a $70 game and then be like, oh, that's the new standard. So here's this game that you kind of also wanted, but it's definitely not a $70 game. We're just going to charge you that because that's the new blanket price.
Right. I think you have to, it comes down to gamers and people buying video games for other people need to be smart, or what's the word? They need to be,
I mean, you need to speak with your wallet.
Well, yeah, but you need to be, you can't just respond to marketing. Like, you have to look at the studio or the publisher's track record and say, okay, this publisher, like, okay, we're talking about Sony Worldwide Studios. Sony has had a track record of putting out games at the appropriate price point, and I will trust that they're going to do that for the next game. And if I buy it and I don't agree with their price point, maybe, then that might influence my decision going forward. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I don't think people actively do that.
No, I don't either.
Everybody's way too lazy, and that sounds like way too much work.
Sure. The other thing though is, how often do you buy a full price game?
Me personally, it's rare at this point.
This year,
but that's because I have such a big backlog.
That's fair.
If I magically went through my entire backlog, like if there was just a year and a half where no new games came out, they said, hold up, pump the brakes, John's got to catch up. And then I cleared all my games and I was like, okay, guys, resume. Give me more.
See, I think I'm at that point.
I might.
My backlog is pretty small, relatively speaking. And this year, I think I can count on one hand the AAA games I've bought day one. Off the top of my head, it's just The Last of Us and Persona 5 Royal. I can't think of anything else I bought this year that was full price day one. Everything else I get on a sale, and it's usually at least 10% off. But more than likely, it's something I'm playing like 6 months down the road, and it's like 50% off usually.
Sure.
So, I mean, there's also like the early adopter kind of thing, where if you don't care about a game, give it 6 months and you're going to be paying much less than you would have been paying up front.
Oh, without a doubt. Sometimes just give it like 3 weeks.
Right. And going back to what we were talking about before with like bad faith, I think the reason this took off the way it did, I mean, prices going up was going to be a news story anyway. I think the biggest issue was with the publisher that announced it.
Oh yeah, 2K.
Bit. So 2K is the publisher that said, you know what, NBA 2K21 is going to be $70. 2K, horrible track record with almost everything. With their games, with their pricing models, with their DLC and their microtransactions. Probably the worst place this could have come from was 2K's mouth. But they were the ones that threw it out there.
Someone had to do it. They're a martyr.
I really want to know. I think I read somewhere that GTA 5, or maybe it was just GTA Online, is free with PS5 at least. If you own GTA 5 on PS4, there was some deal there where you get some sort of GTA 5 free on PS5. I want to know, in my heart of hearts, I want to know, is GTA 5 for the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5, if you do not own GTA 5 previously, is that thing going to be $70? Is 2K going to come out and not force Rockstar? Rockstar's going to be like, oh yeah, give us that money. Is 2K really going to price GTA 5, a game that came out 2 generations ago, at $70?
Probably.
I cannot wait for the internet to burn down the day that that's announced.
I would like to. I mean, we've been obviously throwing a lot of speculation and thought at the pricing of games out here, and if they truly did build in um, a buffer in just kind of hoping and assuming that people would go digital, which would cut back their physical costs, I would love for them to split out. And we've talked about this before. I'd have no issue, and in fact, I would embrace the idea of them splitting this out and saying, okay, all physical games going forward are $79.99. If you buy it digital from like brand new on the PlayStation Store day one, it will still be, or I'm sorry, $69.99 versus $59.99 or whatever the current price is.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see that because you're going to encourage more people to go digital.
Yeah. Yep.
We won't though, but
no, I think that
nice.
they're too worried about their retailers, I think. Whether it's not GameStop anymore, but whether it's Walmart, whether it's Amazon, they get too much money from game sales.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Because they're selling a disc.
I can believe
that takes up almost no space.
Yep.
That electronic section, so much money in there, but it's not taking up giant shelves like the $10 t-shirts.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna skip
money.
Next story. Rumors abound about Xbox Series X and its games. Supposedly, I don't have this on here anymore, but there's been some more rumors this week about the Xbox Series X first party showcase. Supposedly that's going to be
July 29th?
July 29th, something like it's late July.
27th, something with an odd number at the end and in the 20s, I think.
Yes, that is correct. Anyway, they're going to announce all their first party games for Series X at that. Hopefully there's nothing concrete, I guess.
I don't have faith.
And there was a rumor this week that Sony has held on to some of their first and third party announcements. For a state of play that's going to take place after the Series X announcement, where
this is a war of information.
Might announce their price point too. Who knows? Anyway, that's not what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about other rumors concerning Microsoft's first party studios by way of some placeholder Twitter accounts.
Should have registered all those goddamn .coms that we talked about.
This article comes from IGN by writer Jordan Oloman. Microsoft has downplayed the significance of two social media accounts that reference Microsoft's properties Fable and Perfect Dark, but fans aren't convinced. Last week, fans picked up on @Fable and @Perfect Dark game accounts, both of which were registered in early 2020. Verge journalist Tom Warren noticed that the Perfect Dark account was followed by a Microsoft employee, which turned out to be Ken Lobb, creative director at Microsoft Studios and former Perfect Dark developer. Warren also noted that the Fable account is registered to a Microsoft email address. That's about it. The article goes on, but there's nothing else really to say. Other than the Twitter accounts are there, it's @PerfectDarkGame and @Fable. They both are private accounts with the title name placeholder, and they are both followed by one person who is a Microsoft employee.
There's no way to really do something on the internet in secret.
No.
That's an oxymoron. If you're going to do something and you're going to register domains and social media accounts, that's pretty much the same thing as making a stealth announcement, I guess.
Yeah.
It's going to get found.
We've known about Fable now for 3 years.
Yeah.
It was It was rumored that Playground Games, when they created their second team, so they were working on Forza. What's the Forza game that's not motorsport? Horizon, yeah. So Playground Games was the second Forza studio that made Forza Horizon. They created a second team within Playground Games that's supposedly working on Fable. We've known this since like 2017, I think.
Do you think Fable, the new Fable, is just going to be like a horse-drawn carriage racing game? Hyper realistic.
I don't know. It's just that this game is like it's like the worst kept secret in all of games. Is that this Fable game is being made because it's talked about all the time. Microsoft just won't talk about it for whatever reason. Maybe it's going to be an Xbox One launch or an Xbox Series X launch title. I highly doubt it though, because they already have Halo Infinite, and I doubt they want to launch two huge games up against each other like that.
Yeah, for sure.
So why the fuck haven't you been talking about this for the last 2 years? The last two E3s were like, Xbox, this is the year. If you don't show us anything, this is done.
Give us games or we're leaving.
It didn't happen 2 years ago. It didn't happen last year, really. And we know that this is a thing. Fable is being made. We know this. Just fucking confirm it already.
Listen, Xbox, I've got a pretty decent gaming PC now. And if you're really putting all your games on PC, convince me some way to get a console. You want your hardware moving, right?
So Fable is, okay, I feel like everybody, that's a given. That has to be at this event. If it's not there, it's in development hell or something. I don't know. How do you feel? Have you played Perfect Dark? Did you play Perfect Dark on the N64 or Perfect Dark Zero on the 360? Do you have any attachment to that franchise?
I recall it very vaguely from the N64.
I remember I got
and by that I mean no attachment. I just remember I remember it being a thing.
Yeah.
Maybe played it once.
I got Perfect Dark Zero with my launch 360. That was like one of the launch games that I got. I did not enjoy it. I did not have fond memories of it. Not saying that this one couldn't be good. I just feel like this is not what I wanted from Microsoft if this is real.
Yeah.
Like, they keep going back to their old ass fucking properties that are like chained in dungeon. They've chained down in the dungeon for the last 20 years.
If you're gonna go to your old properties, do it with passion. That's all that I ask. Because I don't know if we have this on the topic list, but I think a couple weeks ago, maybe even a couple months ago at this point, I forget. I think it's Sega. Didn't they essentially give a fan-made game of, what is it called? It was their other like big platformer game mascot, whatever you called it. What is that kind of thing called?
A mascot platformer?
Yeah, whatever. I mixed up the order. They gave somebody, God, this is gonna bug me.
Was it Conquer?
No. It was something I'd never heard of before. Oh, Jesus.
You said it was Sega?
Alex Kidd.
Oh, yeah.
If you're gonna bring something back, do it right. Do it the way that the fans who are still fans will appreciate, even if you have to go to the fans to make that happen. I've seen a lot of trends on Twitter in regards to, as the hashtag is so lovingly titled, Banjo Redoey. Because with all these platformers being remade, like they're like, all right, Xbox, let Rare out, please. let them out of the dungeon. Let them give us not even a new Banjo-Kazooie game. Let them remaster the old ones for us, please.
These leaks just, I feel bad. I feel bad because I constantly just complain about Xbox. But I was an Xbox gamer for like 10 years.
Yeah.
That was my platform until I jumped ship to the PS3.
Can't blame you at this point after having played a PlayStation for the last couple months.
I loved my Xbox 360. I loved my original Xbox. I loved the Halo brand. I loved Fable. I love a lot of their stuff. I just keep going back to this thought that I had I've talked about it on this podcast before, but I feel like PlayStation has grown up. They've grown up with their gamers, with their community. They're making games that they want to play. I think when I used to talk about this idea, it was like the whole Mountain Dew Dorito thing with like, we need our first person shooters and that's what we're going to do. It's Halo and it's Gears of War and that's it. Yes. And Microsoft has tried new stuff. I'm not saying they're not. They haven't. Like Sea of Thieves was a really good idea and it's taken off and it's got a great community now. But when I see they're gearing up for their next generation launch and they're launching with a Halo game and they're launching with supposedly a Fable game in the works and a Perfect Dark game, and we know another Gears of War game is coming, and we're talking about even like Banjo-Kazooie. I'm not saying that wouldn't be a hype announcement, because that would be hype as fuck if we got a new Banjo-Kazooie that was actually good.
I mean, yeah, and it would, even if it's just a remaster, it would tie into what literally every mascot game platformer from the 90s is doing right now.
Right, but where is the new stuff? Where are your studios taking risks and creating new things?
Yeah, didn't they?
Even the studios that they just acquired.
Wasn't the big news 3 years ago or 2 years ago? We bought this studio and this one.
And that's the thing.
Like 7 new studios. Where are they?
Look at those studios and what they're making. Last year was the big announcement that they got Tim Sweeney's studio. What the hell is that studio called?
I forget, but it was a big one. It was a big deal. It was PlayerUnknown?
No. Tim Sweeney. Who? No, sorry, not Tim Sweeney. Tim Schafer. Tim Sweeney's Epic Games. Tim Schafer.
Team Sweeney.
Double Fine. They bought Double Fine last year.
Yeah.
They're making Psychonauts 2. They're making a sequel. My mind is not in the right place right now. What's the other studio they acquired with the scary game that you said was scary? The one with the... I played it and I said you really should play it, but need to play with headphones. What's that game called? Hellblade. They bought the Hellblade studio.
I should go back and play that, but every time I load it up, I'm just
That's Ninja Theory, right? Yeah, Ninja Theory. So they bought Ninja Theory. They're working on Hellblade 2. Everybody's working on a fucking sequel.
Yeah.
Or a reboot of something old.
You can make sequels and you can make reboots if they're good.
Sure.
But you need to have more in your catalog than just that.
Yeah, I cannot understand like who decided to just like it's not even really resting on their laurels, because the laurels don't exist. Like they're trying to create new things that are their old things so that they have laurels to rest on.
Yeah.
Basically. They're trying to create laurels.
They're doing that thing where you try to capture lightning in a bottle. They had success with these franchises, and they haven't for years.
Yeah.
And they're just trying to relive that moment. They're trying to preserve it and make that lightning happen again in the same spot, but it's not.
Yeah. So I hope that Xbox proves me wrong at this thing later this month. I hope they have new stuff. I hope that if they are going to do old stuff, that it looks cool and it looks like it's being treated with care and respect, and they're not like trying to push stuff out or whatever it is. I just, on a personal level, if Xbox comes out and it's Banjo and it's Halo and it's Gears of War and it's Fable and it's Forza and it's Perfect Dark and that's it, maybe some indie games, that's not going to do it for me. Even if some of those games look great, it's not going to do it for me, because it doesn't show that they've been listening for the last 3 years.
Yeah. Or it shows that they are listening, but they're listening to the probably, I assume, smaller percentage of their fan base who are okay with things as is, status quo.
Sure. I mean,
don't rock the boat.
And there's nothing wrong with being one of those people. There are plenty of people who are like, I have my Halo and I have my Gears, and then everything else is a third-party game. I play Call of Duty, I play Apex, I play Fortnite.
Yeah.
They're perfectly happy, and I'm happy for that person. I really am.
And Microsoft, you can pander to that person by doing what you're currently doing.
Sure.
But you have, I think, 8 new studios.
Right. They've shown time and time again that they don't want to be just that. They want to be a major game publisher.
Yeah.
And I don't see it. I don't see it.
They've got the Scrooge McDuck bank of money, giant pool. They don't know how to use it.
And it's just such a stark comparison when you see both, not only PlayStation, but also Nintendo just banging on all cylinders and putting out great game after great game. And even when Nintendo puts out a new game that's a remake of an old game or a new edition, like a sequel to an old game, they do it in a way that's revolutionary with Zelda, or
it's innovative,
super fun with Mario Odyssey, whatever it is. They put care and love into it, and it works out for them.
Yeah, we're not on Super Mario 64 version 5 at this point. We've had 5 distinct Super Mario 3D platformers, I think 5, since Super Mario 64 came out. And when we did see a remaster, I guess, remake for the DS all those years ago, they included 30 new stars. There were 120 in the first one. That is a quarter of the stars added.
Yeah. So we'll
Gotta give
see
us
what
something.
happens. I need something, Microsoft. I need something new. Give me something good.
Yeah.
Show me that
Please
you're
and
not
thank
dead.
you.
Show me that you're listening and that you're taking notes and moving in the right direction.
Listen, I would be ecstatic if they... I know that you said you'd be a little bored with Banjo-Kazooie, but if you gave me an honest-to-goodness, proper Banjo-Kazooie mainline game, like, new title that isn't nuts and bolts...
Yeah. No, it wouldn't be that.
I'd be pretty pleased. That would be your version of new Pokemon Snap. Like, that's a game that everybody's been asking for 20 plus years, and here we are. It's still not here.
Yeah. You even have the studio that made it. Granted, none of those same people are there, but
No,
you
they've all
have
jumped ship and are at Platonics or whatever.
it's not like a Activision that bought Crash Bandicoot off of Sony, but Sony kept Naughty Dog. It's not that, because you still have a studio. You could make the game. You have it. You have all of the pieces.
You have the intellectual property, you have the studio, you have the name, you have everything.
Yeah.
Do something with it.
Please, for the love of God. I'm excited for later this month. We'll find out what's happening.
God, the internet's been like really going full on conspiracy theory mode with Nintendo's kind of radio silence recently.
It is interesting.
No direct for a while.
No direct. They had that direct.
And no
mini.
news of a direct.
No, they had that direct mini. What, back in May? Was it late April, or maybe early May?
Yeah, and I think you and I both kind of expected, and I think we talked about it, that there would be
an E3 time thing.
Something, like an E3 level direct.
Yeah.
And nothing. All quiet over there.
Yeah, I really don't know, because they even had all of those leaks a few months ago about all of the Mario anniversary stuff. And we haven't, we got Paper Mario 2. Or not Paper Mario. We got the new Paper Mario game.
Yes.
Announced. But there were other stuff included in those rumors that we've not heard about since.
Yeah. And what's going on with Breath of the Wild 2? Can we have like at least a proper trailer, not a teaser?
Breath of the Wild, Metroid Prime, all those Mario games. Mario Golf.
Maybe Pikmin. I don't know. I've seen some people wanting Pikmin.
Yeah, but they haven't said anything. At this point, we're in July, so we're way past E3.
Yeah.
I don't know when they would. I mean, we're getting close to fall.
We're gonna wake up like next Tuesday, and Nintendo's just gonna tweet and be like, "Hey, there's a new direct in 20 minutes. Pop on by if you want to see what we've been working on. It's gonna be an hour and a half long. There's a lot.
It's just we're getting close to the time. We're getting close to fall. It's in like technically the fall window opens in like a month and a half, is when fall games start to come out. That's not that far away.
No. And I gotta think, Nintendo wants to make money
I would think
and
so.
sell these games that they're hopefully working on.
Yeah. Let's talk about some weird stuff.
All right.
Got a couple weird things that I read and kind of scratched my head at a little bit. First one is that Fortnite is finally out of early access.
Yeah, I didn't realize that all this time they were in early access.
So it's Fortnite Save the World mode, which is their single,
Yes.
or I guess it's multiplayer, but it's their story mode.
It's their
basically.
campaign. Yes.
Sure. The one you have to actually pay for.
Yeah.
So
the one that nobody goes to the one that nobody's referring to when they say, "Hey, let's go play Fortnite."
Exactly. But Fortnite is now out of early access. Save the World is no longer going to be free to play. So not only is it out of early access, now they're going to make people pay for it. The thing that no one plays because everybody's playing Fortnite Battle Royale.
Yes. The company that's making probably way too much money off of the thing that 98% of their audience is doing that is free to play. Let's make that 2% squirm.
This article comes from Polygon.com and Michael McWhertor. Fortnite is dropping its early access label on Tuesday as part of a change to the game's original survival mode, Save the World. More importantly, Epic has said that it's reversing its plans to make Save the World free to play and will slow down development of the mode, which has long been overshadowed by Fortnite's Battle Royale component. Save the World will also no longer be able to support all upcoming Fortnite Battle Royale cosmetic purchases, but your existing library of cosmetics will continue to function in both modes. While Epic said that the new content for Save the World will slow down, the adventure doesn't end here for Save the World. All paid founders will have their founders packs upgraded to the next level and unlock all the rewards, blah 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 blah. They get V-Bucks. Let me break down this.
What a big middle finger.
Epic Games creates Fortnite Save the World.
Yes.
PUBG skyrocketing in the fucking public eye. Epic is like, we could do that. They make Battle Royale.
Make it goofy.
They make Battle Royale. No one ever talks about Save the World mode ever again.
No.
Battle Royale mode becomes the phenomenon that it is.
It becomes Fortnite. Yes.
3 years later. Maybe not 3 years. Like 2 years later. Whatever the hell. Now Epic is like, okay, we're no longer really developing this game anymore, but we're going to continue to give you V-Bucks for it, I guess. You can't use any new content from Battle Royale in the game as far as like cosmetic stuff. Also, if you haven't played this game before, now we're going to make you pay for it, even though it's like 2 years old and no one's playing it. All of that just like makes my head kind of explode a little bit. Like, what the fuck? Why? Why was any of this a thing?
The bit of logic that really gets me is hearing them say, okay, no longer free. You have to give us money now. Also, we're going to slow down development.
Exactly.
Usually money means we can afford the resources to increase and speed up development.
Exactly. That's kind of
you don't get to do that.
Okay, we have this game mode that nobody likes. We're going to start charging people for it. And we're not going to support it going forward. That's our goal.
We're not even going to be coy about it. We're going to straight up tell them that we're not supporting it anymore.
What the fuck?
We're going to announce it.
What is this? And especially because Epic Games has been so, aside from all the Epic Game Store stuff, Epic Games has been really cool about things since Fortnite became a phenomenon. They're like, okay, if you make a game with Unreal Engine, we're not really going to charge you until you make a certain amount of money now. Also, on the Epic Games Store, Fortnite allows us to take less money from game developers. So if you want to put your game here, we're not going to take as much money from you.
Yeah, we'll take a smaller cut. We'll be super cool.
You know, Fortnite's totally free to all of our players. We're going to give away free games on the Epic Games Store every month. You don't need any kind of subscription. Just come and get them, guys. but Save the World mode, you gotta buy that one.
Yep.
You gotta buy that. And we're not supporting it.
We're gonna pump the brakes. We're just gonna take that money and run away.
I read that. I could not comprehend. Like, I don't follow the logic. There's no logic there.
No, it's like somebody misheard. Like somebody broke into. Who'd you say wrote this article?
Polygon. Michael
somebody broke into Michael's computer, and they added a shortcut that anytime that he typed a key phrase, it would put the word "not" in front of it. And then he hit publish, and now he looks like a buffoon. Because this logic does not follow.
No. Does not compute.
And I'm not saying it's Mike's fault.
No.
I'm saying that either somebody messed with his computer or Epic is
playing like 6D chess.
Yeah. Like, is this their way of trying to kill Save the World?
Maybe.
Are they like, we're tired of this. We don't want anybody playing this anymore.
Like, it's such a thorn in their side that they have to keep servers online for it. Like,
yeah.
We need to get rid of these servers over here, or we need to like transition them into something useful. But we can't because we have fucking people playing Save the World mode. How can we get them out of there?
Listen, I ran the finances. Here's all the charts. They're all green and really high. That's good, right? Here's the one that's red. It's Save the World mode. How do we kill this? How do we flip this chart so it's green?
Oh, man.
Good thing I don't care about Save the World or Fortnite.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I don't give a shit. I've read that article and I
it's so confusing.
Thought I had an aneurysm, quite frankly.
Yeah. It's like there's a couple really great Facebook pages where I forget what they're titled, but it's something along the lines of these words just don't make sense. And it's people making Facebook posts and comments, whereas you read, you question if you're having a stroke and if you're truly still alive or not, because it just doesn't.
Exactly.
It doesn't work. It makes your brain hurt.
That's the sensation that I had. Yeah.
Yes. They've taken that concept and made it a business model.
So the next story in this kind of trilogy of just why. I hesitate giving this any visibility because I'm pretty sure it's all just fake. Yeah. I'm actually like 95% sure that it's fake.
It's gotta be.
Do you ever what browser do you use on your phone?
I use the default one of Safari.
Really?
For iPhone.
You might be the first person I know that uses Safari.
Yeah, I still use Safari. I should probably download Chrome because I use Chrome everywhere else. But...
Right. So I use Chrome, and if you,
like a normal person,
if you close all your tabs on your mobile Chrome browser, there's usually like a list of stories that Google spied on you and now is saying you probably will like the content in these stories.
Ah, yes. Big Brother Internet.
That is where this article caught my attention, was because Google said I should read it. So that's why I have it here, is because Google told me that it's real, basically.
All right, I'm going to take this with a extra big grain of salt now, like one of those real big sea salt chunks.
Yeah. This article comes from something called Cosmic Book News. And someone named Matt McGloin. Disney resetting Star Wars, erasing Last Jedi. That title by itself sounds like some neckbeard just, really wanted to flex their...
Really hated
the
new movies.
Okay, so a new rumor has hit the net offering that some sort of Disney Star Wars reset is in the works that will see Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Skywalker basically erased. The rumor comes from the future ruler of Earth, the Doomcock Overlord DVD YouTube channel, who recently offered that a Star Wars...
Is this a real thing? Did we look this up?
Yes.
I hesitate to Google this or Google the word Doomcock, but
The reason I have this in here, wait a minute.
are you rereading it?
I'm rereading it because there was a point somewhere in this article they talked about him having like connections of some sort in the past that like had semi-reliable information somewhere.
Yeah, they had talked about. I think it was. Yeah, it's right at the start. They talked about he had like provided leaks about a new director and writing team and like Captain Marvel stuff.
Oh yeah, that's right. Right.
It was a bunch of Marvel stuff. I don't think it was more Star Wars. I think it was all.
No. But he's had credible leaks in the past, which is where a lot of these like rumor and speculation articles come from, is people who have leaks that probably were just like guessing and happened to be right at the time.
It's the one lucky guess that like blew up.
Right.
They have like 18 failed websites just sitting in their closet. Jar Jar Binks was behind StarWars.net.
I want to read these few paragraphs, and I want you to pretend like you're a normal person who doesn't know anything about Star Wars. And then I want you to tell me how confused you are.
All right.
Because
does it help that I still have not seen the
It probably
most
will,
recent trilogy?
Because the entire thing, okay, I'll get to my thesis in a second.
Okay.
Getting back to the rumor, Doomcock says that plans are in place to save the Star Wars franchise, which involves the Abrams and Rian Johnson trilogy getting nullified. It's claimed that the Star Wars trilogy will be erased using a concept that was recently made canon in the Star Wars Rebels animated series. In the Season 4, Episode 13 installment titled A World Between Worlds, the concept of the Veil of the Force was introduced, a mystical dimension of the Force that connects all time and space. I have received confirmation from 2 additional sources claiming that this is spot on, that indeed Lucasfilm realizes they have made a massive problem on their hands, and that the Star Wars franchise is all but dead. And despite Kathleen Kennedy's hatred of this idea, Lucasfilm was preparing to render the sequel trilogy null and void. It said that the events from The Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Skywalker will be removed from canon, isolated in their own alternate timeline, and regarded as an Elseworlds-like installment under the label of Star Wars Legends. So what Doomcock is explaining is that a Star Wars multiverse will be created which will isolate the Disney Star Wars trilogy as being a part of a separate universe that is not part of the George Lucas original Star Wars films.
Okay. So, as you were reading that, I typed the things that caught my attention so that we can do this in an organized way. First thing I would like to say is that obviously there is a lot of bias in this.
For sure. You can
based
feel
on
the undertones.
just 3 words that they used. One is one word, one is a set of 2. I guess you could boil it down to 2. At the very start, they said that they're going to save Star Wars.
Sure. Which means that Star Wars at one point was in jeopardy of failure.
I don't think everybody thinks that Star Wars needs saving. They then kind of circle back to this and say that Star Wars is dead.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Don't think that's true.
No.
They then go into heavy speculation based on a concept from a single episode of a spin-off series called Star Wars Rebels, which I'm guessing only the diehard fans have seen.
Yes.
And probably children. I think it's more of an animated thing.
It was, yeah. Mm-hmm. On Disney,
so either
one
you're
of the
a
Disney
big fan
XD
of
channels or something.
Sure. Either you're a big fan or you've never seen this. Then they talk about the Veil of the Force. I don't even want to get into that. Because that just sounds like something that someone made up. I believe that it was probably in there. Like in that animated series, but it was spot on per 2 additional sources.
Yeah.
Who your 2 best friends? What does that mean? 2 additional sources.
Yep. Here's my thing.
Wow.
Here's my thing. People are stupid.
Yeah.
Too stupid to understand anything about retconning an entire trilogy of the highest grossing films of all time. Let's take the highest grossing films of all time and retcon them so they're no longer part of the canon.
These are now little side pockets.
That's not something you can do for the general public to understand. When Disney bought Star Wars and they deleted all of the expanded
the expanded universe.
The expanded universe, that was easy because the expanded universe was just for fucking nerds.
Yes. Nobody who had only seen the movies, they probably heard of the expanded universe, but they were like, nah, that's...
Sure.
I'm good with just watching my 2-hour, 3-hour movie, calling it a day. That's all
I
need to know.
I like Mara Jade. I think Jason Solo was a cool character. They're not here anymore because I'm a nerd and I took it upon myself to learn all of this backstory. I get it. I understand that's not real.
You did the extra credit.
Right.
Most of the world just did the basic assignment and watched the movies.
Sure. So when Disney retconned all that stuff out, not a big deal.
Yeah. Big old Disney came in and said, no extra credit. Not in my classroom. Get out of here.
Talking about retconning 3 of the highest grossing movies of all time is not...
Also the only 3 movies that I think had Disney's name attached to them.
Yeah.
Hey, all the work that we did for the past, when did the first one come out? Like 4 or 5 years?
It was 2015.
Yeah, so all the work that has been tied to our name in regards to Star Wars movies, we're gonna throw that out.
Bye. All the games, like the Battlefront 2, all of the work that EA put in Star Wars Battlefront 2 with the Resistance stuff, that's all gone. The television show, the 3rd cartoon series that they put out, Star Wars, it wasn't Rebels, it was Star Wars. I forget what it was, but they just had another animated series that closed.
Clone Wars?
No. It was about the new trilogy.
Oh, I don't...
Resistance, I think? Something like that. But all of this work, all of this money that Disney invested into this, no, we're just gonna... Whoa! Go on. Hold on. We have issues.
What happened?
Oh my. Hold on.
What broke?
Why isn't this moving? Okay, sorry about that. That teaches me to put the music in Audition before we record the podcast.
I'm really confused.
Go
Did
listen
something
to the
happen
podcast.
on the stream?
Holy fuck, that was scary. No, so what happens is, so I'm recording this show for the first time in a different way in Adobe Audition. Previous to this episode, we would basically the podcast that goes out.
Let's not mince words.
Basically, the podcast that would go out on all of the podcast services was just a single audio track that I recorded of just my and John's voice. It was a combined track. It wasn't separated out.
Yes.
With the Go XLR thing that I bought a couple months ago, I discovered that you can multi-track with it in Audition. So now I am recording John's track and my track, or John's voice track and my voice track on different tracks in the in the
two
program.
separate files.
Yes.
Better editing.
So what I did was I set up a template that basically every time we record a podcast, I'm just going to open this template and it's all ready to go.
Yeah, makes sense.
And I included the intro and the outro song on the template.
Oh, was it at a certain time mark?
The outro song started at 1 hour and 30 minutes. And so just now the outro music started blasting in my ear and I had no idea what the fuck was happening. I thought I maybe hit a button on the Stream Deck even though my hands were over here. And then I did hit a button on the Stream Deck and everything just went to hell. So we're back now. We're fine. Everyone's fine here.
What if that's how we do this going forward? We force that
Just
time limit.
1 hour 30 minutes. We hard cut it. We're done.
We wrap up. We don't even wrap up. We just finish our statements and we just say, all right, bye.
Yeah, wherever we leave it, we leave it. Don't even say bye.
Or we just we literally leave off on that word. Next podcast, pick it right back up. This will be one podcast, just spread out over the course of hundreds.
Okay, I don't want to talk about Star Wars anymore, but that was
it's gonna make me so mad if this is all true.
That's
the really annoying part.
So
I mean, they did get one thing right, I guess.
What we have on the horizon for Star Wars that we know of is a lot. We have a second season of The Mandalorian coming at some point next year, I think. We have an Obi-Wan Kenobi solo. Actually, no, I think now it was originally a solo film like Solo, but now I think it's a Disney Plus series for Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Okay.
And then there's 2 more trilogies. There's a trilogy for... Maybe it's not a trilogy. Maybe it's just a single movie. But Taika Waititi has a movie. And then... Is it the Russo brothers from the Marvel films? And they've done other stuff. But they have a trilogy, apparently. And I think Rian Johnson has a trilogy. There's like 2 trilogies. There's Disney Plus series and there's standalone movies. There's so much stuff. We don't have any information about any of them. I refuse to believe that anyone named Doomcock has any sort of inside information about retconning the highest grossing movies of all time.
Better watch out. He's got his sources. 2 of them.
Last story, and again, I hesitate to call it a story. These last 3 stories were things that I think I saw all of them on the same day. And they're all just things that just made me either audibly groan or scratch my head or, just sort of what's happening right now. Just be in utter disbelief and speechless.
Yes.
This last article comes from Polygon.com. Shocker and Patricia Hernandez. The U.S. Army is losing the war in Discord. On Tuesday, chat app Discord announced an initiative to make the service more open and inclusive to communities beyond gaming. Great. Good job, Discord. On Twitter, the U.S. Army's eSports account, which we'll get to, which has its own
timeout. Hold the phone right there.
Which has its own professional team of gamers, made the mistake of responding to the news with ooh-woo, followed by some heart emojis. This marked the start of an onslaught against the Army group, which for some occupies a morally gray area because it is seen as a method to recruit gamers for war through video games and cutesy internet speak. On one top response to the tweet, for instance, reads, "Ooh, please and whist and commit war crimes, ooh." Since then, folks have started to try and speedrun how fast they can get banned from the Discord server in a trollish attempt to protest its existence and recruitment efforts. The most popular method, as showcased by Twitter user Arum Corpus, involves linking the Wikipedia page for war crimes committed by the United States. But it's not the only thing folks are using to bait bans as fast as possible. It seems that anti-army jokes or memes in general are fair game for folks trying to troll the Discord. Some outright reference the unfortunate uwu post that set it all off. And then if you go to the Polygon website, you can see their aggregated tweets and stuff that like screen caps of stuff people have been doing to get banned from this Discord server, and it's all pretty funny. What the fuck is 2020? Why does the United States Army have an eSports group? I assume it's like a club at West Point, maybe? Like it's a student organization? I assume that's what it is. But if it's not, what the fuck is the U.S. Army eSports team? Why is there a Discord server that not only is just for the U.S. Army eSports team, but it's apparently a public thing that everybody can join if they want to? Why is that a thing? And why, in the year of Luigi 2020... does anything with an official blue check mark for the U.S. Army? Who gives them authorization to tweet uwu? Who does that? What is happening?
I wish so desperately that I could have been the fly on the wall in the room about 5 minutes after that post went live. Maybe not even 5 minutes, maybe 30 seconds. And you know what? Give me the 5 minutes leading up to it too, because somebody had to say yes, and it had to be someone higher up, right? That maybe didn't understand.
It's still there?
How do you explain to I don't know how getting social media posts approved for posting by official U.S. Army accounts works, but in my hamster brain. I choose to believe that somebody writes a piece, they send it off to the lieutenant of grammar and I don't know, English, and they sign off, and they're sure. A bit aged, but they are wise and know what to do in terms of proper English and getting a message across. Where was the disconnect?
I wish I knew, man. Please and whist and commit wall crimes. Ooh.
Honestly, it could. Oh my god. Is 2020 just?
So let's recap.
Is this a one-time thing? In 2021, are things going to go back to normal, quote unquote?
Man, I doubt it.
Or is this just the start of our descent into just madness?
We're on the slope down. We have passed the slippery slope. This is we're halfway down the mountain, and then there's lava at the bottom of the mountain. That's
we're but we were just on snow. How is there such hot here?
Man, don't explain Minecraft biomes to me. I don't know.
Yeah. Even Minecraft will at least lava blocks will melt snow, I think. Reality is starting to be less real than a stupid block game. I don't know.
So the U.S. U.S. Army eSports. At U.S. Army eSports, the official page of the United States Army eSports team. If I go to goarmy.com/esports.
I already hate that is a thing, but yes, continue.
Okay, this is really predatory. You go to U.S. Army or goarmy.com/esports, and it takes you...
just the goarmy.com is...
It takes you to a registration page. It says, register to win. Fill out this form to receive answers to questions you may have about the Army, and a recruiter will be in touch to help you out shortly. And then you put in your first name, your last name, your birthday information, your email address, your zip code, and then you choose the Army career path you're most interested in. Full-time service, weekend and part-time service, leadership training for college students, in parentheses, ROTC, and healthcare students and professionals. Nowhere on this page does it say anywhere about esports. And you have to basically request more information and have a recruiter start banging down your door for you to find out anything about esports. So this is really
I am not convinced that there's anything about esports.
I don't understand.
Who's to say what's behind that curtain? Maybe they lure you in with talk of ooh.
I think that's where this please commit wall crimes came from. I don't understand. That's been the theme of the second half of this podcast is I don't understand.
Yeah.
If the U.S. Army, if the U.S. fucking military could please keep its goddamn head and its ass and it's just everything. If they could just not touch esports or be involved in any kind of esports, who are they competing against?
Navy.
I guess.
It's all the branches.
In my mind, I see them like going up against South Korea or something and just getting their fucking asses beat.
This is how wars are really decided.
Yeah, they start up.
No more killing in real life.
They try and go
We're
against.
Gonna pwn you.
They try and go play StarCraft with South Korea and just get destroyed.
So we lost half of our territory because we couldn't mine minerals.
We couldn't push
enough.
the payload, guys.
Nope.
We couldn't. We got dove.
Somebody said something called C9. I still don't really get it, but I guess that's what happened to us.
Oh my god. I hate this world. I hate it. I hate everything about it.
I'm so confused. And I don't think I'm ever going to not be.
No. All right. Well, that's a depressing place to leave it. But do you have anything else?
I don't think my brain is able to handle anything.
Same. All right. Well, thank you for hanging out with us. This has been episode 106 of the Quick Time Event podcast. If you like what you heard, you can find us live on twitch.tv/CDRMagnus every Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You can find us on all of your favorite podcast services, including iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, all of the other podcast services, YouTube. You can find us on QuickTimeEvent.net. On Twitter, I am at Josh. Nope, I'm at CDR Magnus. And John, I haven't been at my name in years. I am at CDR Magnus on Twitter. John is at John Kaminko.
E.
Anything else for the good of the order?
No.
All right, well,
the sooner this podcast ends, the sooner we are to the end of 2020.
Hopefully this the audio podcast goes live on time. I have to go and fuck with all this audio now because I don't this is all uncharted territory for me with the way that I'm editing this now, so it might take an extra day or two to get uploaded. Hopefully not, but we'll see. I've been putting a little bit more work into the YouTube and the I guess just the video that gets put up on YouTube. So if you want to go check out the video on YouTube, that would be cool. That might be a good place to watch it if you want to. It's probably a better experience than Twitch if you're watching it after the fact.
Sure.
But yeah, if there's anything anybody wants me to do that we're not doing, if the podcast is somewhere where you don't normally get it, or if you want it somewhere that it's not, or if we're not utilizing a platform effectively, please let me know and we'll try and work on that. You know what really pisses me off? Actually, no, I said that.
What?
Instagram. Why can you not link to things in Instagram? There's no link. Like, you should be able to post an image and have it link somewhere. That's like basic HTML. Why?
Yeah. Even I know how to do that.
Yeah. Just put a little anchor in there. That's all you need to do. Little anchor reference. There you go.
Too hard.
All right. Anything else for the good order? The good of the order?
Nope.
All right. Well, have a good one. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.